Nobody noticed the old man standing beside the catering loading dock at the Aurora Crown Hotel. But within 2 hours, he would legally control whether this wedding existed. Jerome Pierce adjusted the gift envelope in his jacket pocket and watched the controlled chaos unfold. Luxury SUVs lined the circular drive. Valets in crisp uniforms hustled between vehicles. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, crystal chandeliers sparkled above white draped tables. His daughter's wedding. He'd driven 4 hours from Houston in his '08 Ford F-150, the same truck he'd owned for 15 years. The paint was faded but clean. It did what trucks were supposed to do. Jerome parked in the auxiliary lot and walked toward the service entrance. Not because he was ashamed, but because arriving quietly told you more about a place than arriving loudly. A young security guard stepped forward. "Excuse me, sir. This entrance is for vendors and staff. Guest entrance is around front." "I understand. I'm family. Father of the bride." Jerome kept his voice calm. "Thought I'd come in the quiet way." The guard's radio crackled. He pressed a finger to his earpiece, listening. His expression shifted, apologetic but firm. "Sir, I'm going to need you to wait here." Jerome didn't argue. He'd expected this. He stepped back, leaning against the brick wall. From here, he could see everything. Wedding planners rushing with clipboards. Florists wheeling in arrangements. Caterers unloading silver warming trays. And he could hear conversations. "Did you see the guest list?" A woman in event staff uniform passed within 10 feet. "It's all influencers and tech people. The groom's client list is basically LA real estate royalty." "Is the bride's family rich too?" "I don't think so. Her dad does maintenance work or something." They disappeared inside. Jerome stayed still, watching, listening. A catering supervisor barked orders nearby. "Nothing leaves this kitchen unless it looks Instagram perfect." The groom specifically requested everything be photo ready. "He's got major clients here. Instagram perfect. Photo ready." Jerome pulled out his phone, an older model that did what he needed. He typed a message to a number without a name. "Confirm access protocols are active." The response came within 30 seconds. "Confirmed. Majority owner presence clause in effect. Standing by." Jerome pocketed the phone and looked up at the building. 12 stories of glass and steel, waterfront views, ballrooms that hosted celebrity weddings and Fortune 500 conferences. The Aurora Crown Hotel. He remembered when this place was the Pelican Bay Resort, bleeding money, facing foreclosure. That was 2006. He'd bought it through an investment group called Crescent Holdings LLC. Restructured operations, upgraded facilities, repositioned the brand as ultra-luxury. He still owns 62% of the property group through 5 shell companies. His name on 0 public documents. Before we continue, if you want to uncover what happens next in this shocking tale and never miss another jaw-dropping twist, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell right now. This support helps this channel bring you even more stories like this. Now let's jump deep into the story. An older security guard approached, bearing of someone who'd been in the business for years. Name tag, Marcus, head of security. "Sir, I apologize for the confusion. You're Mr. Pierce, father of the bride?" "That's right." Marcus seemed uncomfortable. "We've had a request from the groom's party that late-arriving guests use the main entrance for coordination. Would you mind coming with me around front?" Jerome studied him. Marcus was doing his job, following orders. "I don't mind waiting, but I need to make a phone call first." Marcus nodded, relieved. "Of course, sir." Jerome walked a few steps away and dialed a number he'd saved for 8 years. Crescent Holdings Compliance. "This is Patricia." "Patricia Jerome Pierce. Authorization code Victor 7 Charlie 9. I'm on site at Aurora Crown, Miami. I need you to initiate a majority owner access verification protocol." Brief pause. Patricia knew what that code meant. "Confirmed, Mr. Pierce. Initiating now. Should I notify property management?" "Yes. Keep it quiet. Standard compliance procedure." "Understood, sir." Jerome ended the call. Marcus was speaking into his radio, expression shifting to alarm. Diana Vasquez, director of operations, hurried out from the service entrance. Her demeanor shifted instantly to deference. "Mr. Pierce, I apologize for any confusion. Please, come with me." Diana led Jerome through the service corridor, past kitchens, toward a private elevator. "I wasn't informed you'd be attending personally," she said. "The booking came through standard reservations. I didn't tell anyone." I wanted her day to be about her. They reached a private office. Through the window, Jerome could see the ballroom below, guests arriving, Tariq greeting people with practiced ease. Sir, Diana said carefully, there's been a flag in our system. The access protocol shows a potential conflict with event authorization. I was denied entry by security following someone's orders. Diana's face paled. Sir, you did nothing wrong, but I need you to run standard compliance. Check that all event licensing is in proper order. Jerome paused. By the book. No shortcuts. She nodded, understanding exactly what he wasn't saying. Jerome watched his daughter's almost husband command the room with easy charisma. He thought about the past 2 years. Every family dinner where Tariq never asked Jerome a single question about his life. The engagement party where Tariq gently corrected Jerome's grammar in front of guests. The time Tariq suggested Alana's father dress up more for wedding photos. Small moments, easily dismissed. But Jerome had built an empire by paying attention to small moments. His phone buzzed. Alana, Dad, where are you? Want to see you before I walk down. Jerome smiled. On my way, baby girl. You're going to be beautiful. He turned to Diana. How long until the compliance check is complete? Standard verification? About 90 minutes. That gives me time to see my daughter. He headed toward the door, then paused. Diana, I want full operational transparency. If anything's not in order, any detail, I want to know immediately. Of course, Mr. Pierce. Behind him, Diana picked up the phone and started making calls that would quietly, systematically, begin pulling apart the perfect wedding Tariq thought he'd built. 32 years earlier, Jerome Pierce stood in the ruins of his childhood neighborhood in Houston's 3rd Ward, watching bulldozers tear down buildings that had stood for generations. He was 23, working construction, living in a 1-bedroom with his pregnant wife, Marie. Urban renewal, the signs said. Everyone knew what it really meant. Wealthy developers buying properties at bottom dollar from owners who didn't understand the paperwork, then flipping the land for luxury developments original residents could never afford. Jerome's grandfather's barbershop had been on that block. Gone in 3 days. He made himself a promise. Learn how they do it. Then do it better. Then make sure it helps people. It took 8 years of night classes, business law, real estate finance, property management, while working days doing maintenance contracts. He learned how deals were structured, how LLCs could protect identity, how distressed properties could be acquired, restructured, and turned profitable while staying hidden. His first acquisition was a failing community center in 1994. Purchase price, $140,000. 6 years of savings. Bought it through Pioneer Property Trust. Restructured operations. Leased it back to the city at below market rates for youth programs. Sold 3 years later for $380,000. Marie had been suspicious. Jerome, we have a 3-year-old daughter. Why are you putting all our money into buildings? Because buildings last. And someday, Alana's going to need opportunities we can't imagine yet. By 2000, Jerome owned parts of 7 properties. By 2008, 18. Always distressed. Always undervalued. Always restructured through anonymous partnerships. And he never told anyone. Not even when Marie got sick. Present day, 3 hours before wedding. Alana Pierce stood in the bridal suite, adjusting her grandmother's veil, the same one her mother had worn, carefully preserved for 20 years after Marie's death when Alana was 12. Her phone rang. Dad, where are you? Coming up now, baby girl. 5 minutes later, Jerome knocked. Alana threw her arms around him. You look exactly like your mama. Alana pulled back. Dad, are you okay? You seem tense. Just emotional. This is a big day. I wish Mom could be here. She is. She'd be so proud of you, Alana. Doctor. Surgeon. Saving lives every day. Alana smiled, but it wavered. Dad, can I ask you something? Are you okay with Tariq? I know he's different from us. The whole image thing. But he loves me. Jerome chose his words carefully. What matters is how he treats you. How he treats people around him when nobody important is watching. What do you mean? Just something to keep in mind. Character shows up in small moments, not big gestures. Before Alana could respond, the wedding coordinator knocked. Dr. Pierce, 30 minutes from processional. Your bridesmaids are ready. Alana squeezed Jerome's hand. I love you, Dad. Love you too, baby girl. 2 years earlier, engagement party. The party was at a trendy LA rooftop restaurant. Tariq's world. His friends, clients, carefully curated social circle. Jerome arrived wearing his good suit, carrying a first-edition architecture book he thought Alana might appreciate. Tariq was mid-story, and I told him, if you want the Malibu property, move now. This market doesn't wait for hesitation. Friends laughed. Tariq saw Jerome and waved. Jerome, everyone, this is Alana's father. Handshakes, polite greetings. Then Tariq turned back to his story. Jerome stood on the edges all night, listening, watching. At one point, he mentioned working on commercial properties for years. Oh, like maintenance? Someone asked. Something like that. Tariq overheard and smoothly redirected. Jerome's the hardest worker I know. Blue-collar values. The foundation of America. Not an insult exactly, but a categorization. A placement. Later, Jerome was telling a story when he used a double negative. Tariq gently interrupted. You mean, I didn't know any better, right? He smiled, correcting. Jerome nodded. Right. Thank you. But he'd seen Alana's face. The tiny flinch of embarrassment. And he filed it away. 6 months ago, venue selection. Alana called, excited. Dad, we found the perfect venue. The Aurora Crown in Miami. I know it's expensive, but Tariq can handle it. Have you heard of it? Jerome stared at the name on his laptop. The Aurora Crown. Property he'd acquired in 2006. Restructured in 2008. Rebranded in 2011. I've heard of it. It's beautiful, Alana. I'm worried about the cost. If that's where you want to get married, that's where you should. What he didn't tell her, the deposit had been flagged by his compliance team. His daughter was booking his own property. Jerome personally approved the contract. With one addition, a clause buried in standard terms. If majority ownership representatives are denied reasonable access during contracted events, management reserves the right to suspend event authorization pending compliance review. His lawyer questioned it. Jerome, this clause has never been activated. It won't need to be. But he added it anyway, just in case. 3 weeks ago, final warning. Tariq and Alana visited Houston. Dinner at Jerome's apartment. Tariq looked around, clean but outdated, furniture from the 90s. Jerome, man, we should get you into a better place. I could help you find something more comfortable. This is comfortable. Sure, but image matters. Especially now that you're connected to our wedding. Some of my clients will meet you. Appearance is part of success. Alana looked embarrassed. Tariq, Dad's fine where he is. I'm just saying there's no shame in upgrading. You deserve it. Jerome smiled. I appreciate that. But I'm happy here. That night, Jerome called his attorney. Curtis, confirmed the Aurora Crown contract compliance protocols are embedded. The wedding? Your daughter's wedding. Just making sure everything's in order. The clause is active. But Jerome, are you really going to? I'm not going to do anything. I'm just making sure that if character needs to be revealed, the mechanism exists. Present day, wedding suite. Jerome's phone buzzed. Email from his attorney. Subject, Aurora Crown event authorization. Majority owner presence clause confirmed active. Compliance team standing by. Last chance to cancel. Curtis. Jerome typed. Let it run its course. Character reveals itself. J. He headed downstairs, where Tariq was greeting guests without knowing that the man he'd blocked owned every inch of the building beneath his feet. Tariq Ellison checked his reflection, adjusting his Tom Ford tuxedo. The Patek Philippe watch caught the light perfectly. Italian leather shoes polished to a mirror shine. Through the windows, he watched guests arriving. Bentleys, Teslas, a Rolls-Royce. His client list in luxury car form. This wedding was more than a wedding. It was a brand statement, which is why, when he saw the faded blue Ford F-150 pull into the arrival circle between a Mercedes and a Range Rover, his stomach dropped. Jerome, gray suit, probably off the rack. Work boots instead of dress shoes. No tie. Walking toward the main entrance like he belonged. Tariq's mind raced. Clients seeing this, photos being taken, social media capturing the wrong image, questions about Alana's background. He texted Marcus, head of security. Elderly man in gray suit approaching main entrance. Family guest, but inappropriate entrance timing. Please redirect to service entrance discreetly. Copy that, sir. Through the window, Tariq watched Marcus intercept Jerome on the marble steps. Brief conversation. Jerome nodded, didn't argue, just pulled out his phone. Problem solved. Tariq exhaled and headed downstairs. The ballroom was transforming into exactly what he'd envisioned. White orchids, crystal chandeliers, champagne flowing. Guests in designer outfits, taking photos, posting stories. His business partner clapped him on the shoulder. Bro, you really pulled it off. Only the best. How do you even book this place? 2-year waiting list. Connections. What he didn't say, Alana got them in through a cancellation. Probably her father pulled strings with maintenance contacts. At least Jerome had been useful for something. His phone buzzed. Event coordinator Melissa. Mr. Ellison, small issue with catering delivery. Can you come to the service hallway? Tariq found Melissa looking stressed. There's been a delay with the main course. They're saying something about supply verification. What does that mean? The catering manager needs clearance from property management. We have a contract. Tell them to keep working. I did. They said they're following protocols. Should just be a few minutes. Tariq felt irritation spike. It's our wedding, Melissa. There are no protocols that override our contract. I understand. Let me check again. He returned to the ballroom, forcing his smile back. 30 minutes later, Julian, best man, pulled him aside. The bartenders can't start full service. Something about license confirmation. Tariq stepped to the bar. The head bartender looked uncomfortable. Property management flagged our alcohol service license for verification. Should be cleared shortly. How shortly? Within the hour. The ceremony started in 45 minutes. Tariq noticed other problems developing. The band in discussion with stage management, the photographer checking his contract, staff moving with unusual urgency. Something was wrong. Melissa texted, "Need to speak with you privately." Immediately, her face was pale. Mr. Ellison, corporate compliance is doing an authorization review. What? They're verifying that all event aspects have proper approval from property management. We signed a contract 3 months ago. Yes, but there's been a flag in the system. They're required to do a full compliance check. Who flagged it? They wouldn't say. Standard protocol when certain conditions are met. Tariq felt heat rising. Melissa, I have 200 guests arriving in 20 minutes. My bride is upstairs. Get your director on the phone now. She's on her way. Diana Vasquez appeared, director of operations, wearing the face of someone delivering bad news while minimizing damage. Mr. Ellison, I apologize. There's no confusion. There's incompetence. We have a signed contract. Money was paid. This is purely procedural. We're verifying operational authorizations. What authorizations? Diana chose words carefully. Under certain property management protocols, if specific conditions are triggered, we're required to perform verification before major events proceed. What conditions? I'm not at liberty to discuss specifics. Tariq stepped closer, voice dropping to deal-making tone. Diana, there are CEOs, influencers, and major clients in this ballroom. If this wedding doesn't happen perfectly, it affects this venue's reputation. Understand. I understand. Corporate compliance is reviewing now. How long? Approximately 90 minutes. The ceremony started in 30. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is Patricia from Crescent Holdings Compliance. We're reviewing event authorization for your booking. A representative will contact you shortly. Crescent Holdings. That sounded familiar. He called his lawyer. Voicemail. Around him, the perfect wedding buckled under invisible pressure. Guests were noticing. Whispers beginning. Through the windows, he saw Jerome. Not outside anymore. Inside. Walking through a service corridor with Diana, who treated him with obvious deference. That didn't make sense. Unless. His phone rang. Unknown number. This is Tariq Ellison. Mr. Ellison, Patricia Chun from Crescent Holdings Corporate Compliance. We're conducting a standard owner access verification protocol. A majority property owner was denied reasonable access during your event setup. Per Section 14.3 of your venue agreement, this triggers automatic compliance review. Tariq felt his world tilting. Who's the owner? Pause. I'm not authorized to disclose ownership structure. Event licensing is currently suspended pending resolution. You can't suspend our wedding. The suspension is already in effect. You'll receive formal notification shortly. The line went dead. He heard Melissa announcing to staff. Ladies and gentlemen, brief delay. Please continue enjoying cocktails. Somewhere in the building, Jerome Pierce was signing documents Tariq couldn't see. Activating systems Tariq hadn't known existed, quietly dismantling the perfect wedding built on assumptions about who mattered and who didn't. Alana Pierce stood in the bridal suite, checking the time for the 3rd time. What's going on? We were supposed to start 15 minutes ago. Her maid of honor checked her phone. Melissa just keeps saying, slight delay. Through the window, the parking lot filled with more guests. Everything looked beautiful. Sunset over Biscayne Bay painted the sky orange and purple. Her phone buzzed. Tariq, baby, small logistics issue. Nothing to worry about. Give me 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Alana had been a trauma surgeon for 4 years. She knew what nothing to worry about meant when someone was controlling panic. I'm going downstairs. Alana, you can't. Something's wrong. She walked out in her wedding dress, veil trailing, down the hallway, toward the service elevator. Staff members snapped to attention. Dr. Pierce, do you need? I need to know what's happening with my wedding. They exchanged glances. One spoke carefully. Ma'am, there's been an operational authorization delay. Corporate compliance is handling it. What does that mean? I'm not authorized to explain. Alana saw Diana near the ballroom entrance. Diana, what's happening? Diana turned, respectful deference in her expression. Dr. Pierce, there's been a situation with event authorization. We're working to resolve it. What kind of situation? Before Diana could answer, Alana saw her father through a glass door, in what looked like an executive office with 2 people in business suits. He was signing something on a tablet, and every staff member who passed that office either nodded respectfully or briefly paused, like he was important, like he was in charge. Diana, why is everyone treating my father like he's someone significant? Diana went still. Dr. Pierce, you should speak with your father directly. I'm speaking with you. Diana looked at nearby staff. Give us a moment. They left. Your father is Jerome Pierce? Yes. He's the majority controlling owner of the Aurora Crown Property Group. The words didn't connect. What? Your father owns 62% of this property. Through holding companies. He's owned it since 2006. Alana felt her legs go weak. That's impossible. My father does maintenance work. Your father owns 17 commercial properties across 6 states. The Aurora Crown is one of his flagship acquisitions. He's never disclosed his identity publicly. The hallway tilted. He owns this hotel? Yes, ma'am. When I booked this venue, he personally approved your contract. We didn't realize it was his daughter's wedding until today. Alana's mind raced. Every conversation about venue costs. Tariq saying he'd handle it. Her guilt about the price tag. Her father never mentioning he knew this place. Why is event authorization suspended? Diana hesitated. Your father was denied entry earlier. By security. Acting on instructions from the groom's party. The world stopped. What? Your father arrived through the service entrance. Security was instructed to redirect him. Your father activated a compliance protocol. If a majority owner is denied access, event authorization can be suspended pending review. Alana couldn't breathe. Tariq had blocked her father from entering. Her father owned the building. I need to speak with my dad. Jerome was finishing documents when Alana burst in. Dad. He looked up. Alana, what's wrong? Is it true? Do you own this hotel? Jerome's expression softened with sadness. Yes, baby girl. For how long? 18 years. And you never told me? I never told anyone. That was the point. They're saying Tariq blocked you from entering your own property. Is that true? Jerome nodded. I arrived through the service entrance. Security followed instructions from the groom's party. From Tariq. I believe so. Alana closed her eyes. Remembered Tariq's comment about her father's appearance. His suggestion to upgrade her dad's wardrobe. The way he dismissed Jerome's stories. Why did you activate this protocol? Jerome took her hands. Alana, I didn't come to ruin your wedding. I came to see my daughter get married. But I've spent 30 years building something that reveals character. What does that mean? When someone denies you access because they think you don't matter, they show you who they really are. So this is a test? Not a test. A truth. Alana pulled her hands away. Dad, there are 200 people downstairs waiting for a wedding that might not happen because you. Because I what? Because I dressed modestly? Drove a truck? Didn't announce my wealth? Alana, I didn't do anything except show up as myself. The man you're about to marry decided that wasn't good enough to be seen. Tears streamed down her face. But you could have told me. About the money. Everything. I wanted you to choose a partner based on character, not convenience. I wanted you to marry someone who'd respect me whether I was a janitor or a CEO. And Tariq didn't. Jerome didn't answer. Didn't need to. There was a knock. Diana appeared. Mr. Pierce, Dr. Pierce, Mr. Ellison is requesting an immediate meeting. They assembled in a private conference room. Alana, Jerome, Tariq, Diana, and a Crescent Holdings lawyer. Tariq looked between Jerome and the lawyer, slow realization cracking his face open. Jerome, they're saying you own. I do. And about an hour ago, you had security prevent me from entering my daughter's wedding. Tariq's face went pale. I didn't know. I thought you were. What? Not important enough to walk through the front door. Silence. I made a mistake. I apologize. I was trying to protect the aesthetic. The aesthetic. Jerome's voice was quiet but steel underneath. You were protecting how it looked to have me arrive in my truck, wearing my regular clothes, without the right signals of wealth. I didn't mean. Tariq. Jerome stood. I'm going to offer you something. A choice. This wedding can continue. Event authorization can be reinstated. But first, you need to do 3 things. 1. Personally apologize to the security staff who followed your instructions. 2. Personally apologize to every venue staff member affected by this disruption. And 3. Apologize to me, not for not knowing I had money, but for treating me like I didn't matter because you thought I didn't. Tariq stared. Those are the terms. Public apologies. Acknowledging that you judged someone based on appearance and made a fundamentally disrespectful decision. Alana watched Tariq's face, watched him calculate, watched him weigh the social cost against the benefit. And in that moment of hesitation, 3 seconds, maybe 4, she saw everything she needed to see. No, Alana said. Everyone turned. No, the wedding's not continuing. Alana. She removed her engagement ring, placed it on the table. I've spent 3 years building a life with you, Tariq. I didn't realize until right now that I never knew who you actually were. That's not fair. This is one mistake. It's not one mistake. It's a pattern I didn't want to see. You correct my father's grammar. Suggest he dressed differently for photos. Never ask about his life. And today, you blocked him from his own building because you were embarrassed. I wasn't. Yes, you were. You were embarrassed of my father because he didn't look like success in the way you needed him to. Tariq looked at Jerome, then Alana. You're really canceling our wedding over this. I'm canceling because when given the choice between apologizing and protecting your image, you hesitated. She turned to Diana. Please announce the wedding is canceled. Tell guests we apologize for the inconvenience. Dr. Pierce, are you certain? I'm certain. Alana took her father's arm and left the conference room. Behind her, Tariq sat in shocked silence, staring at the ring on the table, while outside, 200 guests received the news that the wedding would never happen. The announcement rippled through the ballroom. Ladies and gentlemen, we regret to inform you that today's ceremony will not be proceeding. The couple has decided to postpone indefinitely. Phones came out. Whispers became conversations. The perfect wedding dismantled itself in real time. Alana changed out of her wedding dress, surrounded by stunned bridesmaids. No one knew what to say. Are you okay? Kennedy finally asked. I will be. And she meant it. Downstairs, Jerome signed paperwork releasing the event authorization hold. Now unnecessary. Mr. Pierce, Diana said, I've worked in luxury hospitality for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this. Like what? Someone who could have destroyed another person completely, but chose not to. Jerome looked at her steadily. I didn't do this to destroy anyone. I did it to reveal character. Dr. Alana Pierce stood at the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Houston Trauma Recovery Fund headquarters, a renovated community center in 3rd Ward, the same neighborhood where her father had watched his grandfather's barbershop demolished 40 years earlier. The fund provided free trauma counseling, medical follow-up, and financial assistance to uninsured families. Funded entirely through profits from Jerome's property holdings, channeled through newly transparent charitable trusts. This building represents something my father taught me, Alana said to the crowd. That success isn't about what you accumulate. It's about what you make possible for others. Jerome stood at the side in his same gray suit, watching his daughter speak with the confidence she brought to the operating room. After the ceremony, they drove past several of his properties. He was systematically transferring operational control to professional management while maintaining majority ownership through public charitable foundations. Dad, can I ask you something? Always. Did you know this was going to happen? With Tariq, Jerome was quiet. I knew there was a possibility. I built that contract clause 18 years ago after watching someone be denied dignity because of how they looked. I never knew if it would be used. But I knew that if it was triggered, something important needed to be revealed. Do you think Tariq is a bad person? I think Tariq values the wrong things. That doesn't make him evil. It makes him someone who hasn't learned that character matters more than perception. Have you heard anything about him? I hear things. He's still successful. But there's a story that circulates in certain circles. About the wedding? Jerome nodded. About the groom who blocked the venue owner at his own wedding. It's not loud, not public, but in the world Tariq lives in, where reputation is currency, it's enough. People know, and they remember. Do you think he learned anything? I don't know. Learning requires humility. Whether he has that, only time will tell. 1 year later, Tariq Ellison closed a deal on a luxury condo development in Beverly Hills. The clients were tech entrepreneurs, young, wealthy, image-conscious. Everything went smoothly until the final handshake. Tariq Ellison. I know that name. One client paused. Weren't you involved in that wedding that got canceled in Miami? The Aurora Crown thing. Tariq's smile didn't falter. That was a long time ago. Personal matter. Right. But I heard you didn't realize the bride's father owned the venue? That's wild. It was a misunderstanding. Must have been embarrassing, though. I mean, to not know. The deal closed. Papers signed. But Tariq felt it. The subtle shift in how they looked at him. Not disrespect, but reassessment. He was still successful. Still made money. Still closed deals. But he was also marked. The story had become part of his reputation, whispered at industry events, mentioned carefully in rooms where image mattered most. And in a world where perception created value, being known as the man who'd misjudged so completely was a stain that never fully washed out. Present day, Jerome Pierce sat on a bench outside the Houston Trauma Recovery Fund building, watching people come and go, families receiving help they couldn't afford otherwise, medical professionals volunteering, community members taking classes. His phone buzzed. Email from his estate attorney. Subject, property transfer complete. All 17 properties transferred to charitable trust management. Your name on public record as founder/primary benefactor. The Aurora Crown specifically designated to fund medical assistance programs in perpetuity. After 30 years of anonymity, your legacy is now visible. Well done, Curtis. Jerome smiled. Visible legacy. That wasn't what he'd been building. He'd been building a system that worked. That helped. That revealed truth when truth needed to be seen. The money was just the mechanism. Alana appeared with 2 cups of coffee. She sat beside him, handed him one. Thinking about the wedding. Thinking about a lot of things. Do you regret it? The way it happened? Jerome considered. No. Do you? Sometimes. But then I think about what kind of marriage it would have been. Built on a foundation where my husband was ashamed of my father. She paused. I don't regret walking away. Good. They sat in comfortable silence. A young boy ran past, chasing a soccer ball. His mother called after him, laughing. The building hummed with activity. Counseling sessions, support groups, job training programs. All funded by properties most people still didn't know Jerome owned. All built on a simple principle. Pay attention to how people treat others when they think those others don't matter. Alana leaned against her father's shoulder. I love you, Dad. Love you too, baby girl. Across the country, in Miami, the Aurora Crown Hotel was hosting another wedding. A couple who would never know the story of what happened there a year ago, would never know the quiet owner who'd built the building they celebrated in. And that was exactly how Jerome wanted it. Because legacy wasn't about being loud. It was about being present when you were needed, invisible when you weren't, and building systems that made the world better long after your name was forgotten. Come on, Alana said, standing. We've got donors to thank inside. Jerome stood, took his daughter's arm, and walked back into the building where lives were being rebuilt, one family at a time, one trauma healed, one person reminded that they mattered, not because of how they looked, but because they were human. And in Jerome Pierce's world, that was the only credential that counted. Never judge who matters by how loudly they live. The end.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Subscribe, like, and click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.